This is Get to Know the Royals. Mike Foyles with Phylicia Short, the Assistant Athletic Director for Communications in her 14th season at Queens, a 2007 graduate, and one of the best women's basketball players at Queens in recent history, top 15 on the all-time scoring list. Thank you so much for coming on today, Fee.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Well, I mean, first question, where did you grow up? You know, was basketball always your primary sport too? I mean,
I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina, so not far from Charlotte at all. I was born and raised in Greensboro, and basketball was pretty much the only sport I played. I started off playing soccer. I didn't like it that much, so I switched to basketball pretty early, mainly because my dad was coaching at the Y, so I started off playing with boys up until about middle school. But that was pretty much all I played. I ran track for a few years, but I pretty much stuck with basketball year-round.
I gotcha. So what was kind of your recruitment process to Queens? You know, when did you get introduced to the school and the idea that you can play basketball there?
I mean, my story is pretty interesting, I guess. My sister also played basketball at Queens. And so the coach who recruited her, my sister was her first recruit, and I ended up being her last recruit before she retired from coaching basketball and then just went on to be the AD for the years I was there. But yeah, the recruiting process was interesting. I mean, I was one of those kids who thought I was probably, like a lot of kids think they're better than they actually are, and realized it when I got to high school. You know, a lot of people grew taller, and I kind of stayed the same height, so that narrowed my list down some. But I always loved Queens, even from when my sister attended Queens in the 90s, and so when Coach King came back around to recruit me, I was definitely interested and came down for a visit and ended up liking it in the long run. Definitely liked the business school, and I had planned on going to be something in finance. Obviously that didn't happen, but that played a big role in me deciding to come to Queens as well.
Gotcha. You got your MBA from Queens a few years after you graduated undergrad. You now 32 varsity sports at Queens. I mean, as I well know, you have a lot on your plate. You and the assistant director of athletic communications, Corey Gwynn, you guys both do so much. You've probably seen the school grow a lot in the last, 15 years or 10 to 15 years or so. Can you speak more to maybe how it was when you were there versus how Queens is now?
Definitely a lot different. I think we probably had about 15, maybe 12 to 15 sports when I was a student athlete. My freshman year was the first year Queens had lacrosse. So that was an influx of a lot of different student athletes on campus that year, especially male student athletes. But from that 15 to what we have now,
yeah,
is definitely a big difference. The student body has grown, the quality has grown. I feel like the quality of sports that we produce has grown. The student athletes that we have and that we develop coming out has gotten better. We've performed better, I feel like, in the recent years, definitely. Some sports have always done well, but I feel like as a whole, as a department, we've definitely done well, especially over the past 5 years with the addition of those sports. So I think the growth has been good for us. It's been good for our department. And it hasn't just been unnecessary growth. I feel like it was needed. And I feel like it has helped our school overall grow and get the recognition it deserves.
Yeah. Well, you every now and then your two adorable children will be hanging around the athletic department, at least back when things are kind of normal. If the pandemic kind of offered anything, I hope it offered an opportunity to have a little more family time at home, because I know you're at the Levine Center every single minute of the day. So I hope that was true.
Yeah, it was. It was interesting. Pandemic year 2020 was also the year that I had my son. So half of the year I was pregnant. So I kind of went home to working from home earlier than a lot of other people because I was pregnant at that time. So a lot of it, yes, I was thankful for the time at home, but I was also a little stir crazy. Missing the games, missing the sports. But I definitely appreciate the time I got to spend at home with my family during everything. But I definitely missed the games.
No, I totally get that. Well, we had a busy spring semester coming up, and I really appreciate you taking just a few minutes to talk with me today. It's Thank Your SID week, so that kind of all extends to you. And I think
Well,
everyone,
thank you.
yeah. This has been Fee Short, Assistant Athletic Director for Communications. Thank you once again.